Hey everyone, it's Michael, GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I finally decided on a place to record at in my new house. I decided to pick the couch right across from the bookshelf I just did a video for yesterday or the day before, whenever it was. Anyway, I am going to finally continue the Werewolf Review-a-thon that I was doing with Goosebumps Completionist and the other Goosebumps YouTuber called Monster Blood, aka Austin. Guys, I am so sorry that it's taken me forever to read this book. I've been working on this book for like 2 months trying to read it because it has honestly been one of the most dull and boring Goosebumps books I have ever read in my life. And usually I don't feel that way. A lot of people give me a little bit of talking to because I give a lot of leniency to a lot of Goosebumps books that are not the best, but they're not horrible. Typically I really enjoy Goosebumps books. And there may be like one or two aspects of this entire book that I actually liked. Everything else in this book was horrible. This is actually the last Give Yourself Goosebumps book ever put out. It is called All Day Nightmare, and it's book number 42. And yeah, like I said, we're part of the Werewolf Review-a-thon. That's what this is part of. Of course, the next one I'll review is going to be The Secrets of the Swamp, the IDW recent comic book release. It was a trade paperback instead of a hardcover like they were doing. Anyway, I'll try to get around to that this weekend as well and try to review it. It has taken me ages to read this book, man, because it's horrible. It's just a really bad book. I don't think I've watched anybody else's review for this in the review-a-thon from Austin or from Completionist. And I'm hoping that maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe this is a really just dull, lackluster book. I've read a lot of these GYG books. Honestly, a lot of these are really some of my favorite adventures I've ever had in Goosebumps. And I think the problem a lot of the time is that GYG doesn't have as good of a monster set as, or a rogues gallery, or whatever you'd like to call these things, compared to the classic series, or even the Most Wanted series, one of the more recent franchises, or even Slappy World, I would say, has better monsters than most of the old GYG books. But the GYG books can be a fun adventure, and that's also a part of Goosebumps, is having a fun, adventurous story. And I will say this, I was really let down with this. Most of this book is dedicated around the idea of you waking up in a mansion. Yeah, it's written as if you're the first person, second person character or whatever, and you wake up inside of a mansion or house or something, and you don't have any memory of where you are or who you are or whatever, and as you're walking, I think as soon as you're about to leave your room or as you're going down the hallway, you run into another kid who is named Max, and Max is also amnesiac. Anyway, he doesn't have any memories either. I don't know what the word would be. He can't remember who he is anyway. And you and Max are trying to figure out who you are and how you got here and if you know each other and stuff. Well, the story kind of divides up into two different stories. And by the way, there's also a hound dog that lives like 2 houses down from our house that has howled all single morning. All morning long. I am so sorry about that. If he constantly bothers you throughout the video, I'm sorry. There's also a chihuahua over on that side that never stops. Never. So when I'm quietly trying to read and get through a terrible Goosebumps book, I'm struggling because I'm hearing howling and then chipping, basically. Why do dogs' barks differ? Anyway, vocal cords, I guess. So, in this particular, yep, there he goes. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out so I can bother you as you watch my videos nowadays. Anyway, so the story divides up into 2 different ideas. You can either go one route where it's literally like 75% of this book is dedicated to the idea of aliens. Yes, an alien story. Because in the dream that you had before you woke up from your nightmare and ended up in the mysterious house with no memories, you're dreaming about a circle of fire that's spinning around pretty fast, and I guess it's supposed to be a UFO, I guess. You also dream about the alien type of thing, and that kind of comes to play in here, and I don't think I've ever, as far as I remember, I don't think I've ever seen anything about aliens in Goosebumps. To my knowledge, I could be wrong. Maybe I've seen something here and there, I'm just forgetting it, but I don't think I've seen many alien storylines in Goosebumps. So I kind of expected something more fun with that. And it was really bland. I mean, it was really just boring. There was nothing happening. And like I said, most of the time, these books about half and half, 50-50 split themselves amongst 2 different storylines. Of course, the 2 different main storyline choices you can go down, a lot of the time those 2 storylines take you on completely different paths, and that kind of happens here, but the UFO storyline takes over about 75% of the book, if I had to say, and none of it's interesting. Not a single bit of it was interesting. I hated every bit of it. I just dreaded picking up this book because of that. And I'll be honest with you, I struggled for 2 months reading this thing, I think it was, trying to get around to making the time to read this. And then I would have times where I just wanted to watch a TV show or a movie or something, because I'd rather do that. Even though I don't even like TV, I'd rather do that than sit through this, because it was killing me. I was so happy this morning to sit down and try to finish the last 20 pages and get this review done, because I really wanted to get it done and have a nice little video for your weekend. Maybe another one with the Secrets of the Swamp if I can get it done this weekend. I have a lot of free time. I got all my cleaning done during the week, so hopefully that can be the case. I'm not going to promise to you, but hopefully. But moving along, the other storyline in here that takes up a small fraction of the book, that, again, I was convinced the more I read this book that there was no werewolf storyline. Austin told me, yes, there is. Now, this is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing. It is a werewolf storyline, but it's mostly that when you're, instead of running into the whole UFO thing in the house, as you're trying to escape the house, you run across a woman coming through the main door of the house or something with a couple of big old wolves or dogs or something. I think they're dogs. And this woman has dolls and all kinds of stuff that can come to life and dance. That part's pretty creepy, I'll be honest with you. That part's pretty cool. And she is a werewolf hunter, and she starts hunting you and Max down throughout the house and in the woods and all kinds of stuff. It kind of involves other werewolf hunters as well that come into play later on for this big, I don't want to say competition, but get-together of werewolf hunters. So you're kind of being hunted by one, or possibly, depending on the storyline you've taken, many people. Now that probably sounds cool. And I'll be honest with you, some of the darker endings in this book are involved with those storylines of, you getting hit with a metal boomerang, or a silver boomerang in this case, because you may or may not be a werewolf, and same thing with Max. There's some cool things that happen in here, but I'll be honest with you, every single ending in this book, every single ending, there's how many? 20 endings? Yeah, 20 different scary endings is what they say on the front cover. And I think every single ending in here sucked. There are some that are creative, but I wouldn't say they're good. They all sucked, pretty much. Whether it be the UFO storyline or the werewolf storyline. I wasn't interested in any of this, man. I don't know what it was. I love werewolves. I like alien stories. If I can find some that are decent, most of them suck. Not just in Goosebumps, but just anywhere. Anywhere. Usually it's just terrible, boring crap. Unless it's The Taking by Dean Koontz. I really like that story, but it's not really aliens. It's kind of like a demonic thing. But anyway, this book, it was rough. It was a real rough ride. I did not want to read this. Did I just say rough ride in a werewolf review? I'm sorry. That was a horrible, horrible, punny, terrible thing to say. I don't want to talk about that. Anyway, All Day Nightmare was a complete miss in every way possible, which bums me out because it's one of the only stories I've ever seen with werewolf hunters in it. It has some darker endings sometimes that are not as fun or as good. I don't think there's really a good ending in this entire book. Usually when I say good ending, I mean in the sense of an ending that feels like you went on your journey and now your journey is over and things are going to move along in your life now. That's kind of a good ending of what I consider a good ending. When you're playing Silent Hill, you have the good endings, the bad endings, in the sense of you made these choices throughout, you get a good ending, bad ending if you made bad choices. I kind of expected more something like that. I don't think they even had a good ending in here. All of it was just kind of lackluster, oh, you fell down the stairs, stuff like that. Or, oh, you got hit with a silver boomerang and you're dead now. It's pretty much it. Kids die a lot in this book, which was weird. I've seen death in Goosebumps. I have. And this is weird seeing it quite a few times in a lot of the werewolf hunter endings. Was it interesting? No. It didn't make up for everything else in it being bad, pretty much, that whole storyline. But anyway, after all the rambling and tangents and whatnot, this was such a miss in the worst possible way it could be a miss. And I was hoping for a book that I could really be excited about when I would possibly get around to here and reviewing it here at the new house for the first video I do in this house outside of the book collection video I did for you guys. This was a big old miss. A big, big, big miss. And it really makes me sad, honestly, because I wanted to have something really awesome to talk about, really something that would be cool and exciting for you guys. And this is kind of the last real novel or GYG book or anything that I'm reading before Secrets of the Swamp, which is the last book in my review-a-thon with my friends. And this one was a really big letdown. Don't be surprised if it's the bottom of the ranking list. I'll be honest with you. There are certain things like Werewolf in the Living Room that I think are better than this book. But yeah, we're going to talk about it when we get around to the Werewolf ranking video in the next couple of days. Hopefully I'll be able to get through Secrets of the Swamp pretty quickly. It's a comic book, so it should be over in no time. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. I don't want to end the Werewolf Review-a-thon on this, and then that one be bad too. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Goosebumps, or give yourself Goosebumps, number 42, All Day Nightmare? Did you love this book? Did you hate this book? I am so curious to see what Austin and Completionists say about this book. I don't think I've watched their reviews yet, but I'm curious about what they have to say about it because this was a big old miss. I hated this book. It's one of the worst I've ever read from Goosebumps in the sense of it has some cool ideas and it's a complete drop the ball miss. Do you remember back in the day when I talked about Into the Jaws of Doom, the first Give Yourself Goosebumps book special edition? The one with the big T-Rex on it. I did a big, like, 18 or 19 minute long rant about that book and how it had, like, one or two things that were actually cool in it. And then everything else about the book was boring and dull and stupid. It all took place in a big museum. It was a pretty cool book overall concept. Has one of my favorite villains in Goosebumps, Visible Man. Visible Man is terrifying, and I loved him. I loved him. But even that book had some cool things, like a killer robotic arm inside of the museum chasing after you and strangling you to death. It had some interesting things. This has nothing. Nada. This is the last one of the GYG books, and probably for a reason. Probably for a reason, frankly. It's sad. It's really sad, honestly. But it was a big old miss, and I'm really bummed out about it. Anyway, guys, when it comes to Give Yourself Goosebumps number 42, All Day Nightmare, if I had to rank or rate this one on a 5-star basis, I'd give it like a... Oh man, I'd give it like I'm gonna give it like a 1 out of 5 stars. I gotta be honest with you, because the things that I did like about it, like the concepts that were completely dropped like a slinky downstairs, were not worth it. It wasn't worth it. It was completely a miss in every single way it could be, and it's sad. It's really sad. So anyway, what did you think about this boring book? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Do you plan on collecting this one? If you're going to go hunt down Goosebumps books for a collection or anything, I do not recommend this one whatsoever. Even if you're not a collector, you just pick up books that people recommend to you, do not pick this one up. It's such a miss, dude. If you're a big Goosebumps collector and fan, pick it up. But if you're somebody just collecting Goosebumps books that you get recommended that you want to read that sound good, this one sounds good, but it's a complete miss. Don't do it. It's, whew, boy, it's bad. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon in the Secrets of the Swamp review, God willing, and I hope you had a good time with this first review in the new house. I'm loving this house. My wife loves it too. We're so excited about this place. And I hope you enjoyed that book collection video I did before this video. It was a pretty cool one. I'm really excited about that. I think a lot of people really received that video well. I think a lot of people were happy to finally see the collection all in one go. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being a part of my life. And I'm not really sure what I want to jump to after the Werewolf Review-a-thon. I mean, I've taken forever to get through this book. It's not like I really need another break anytime soon. I am taking a vacation in September, so I might take a couple of Goosebumps books with me, or just one of my regular paperbacks that I bring, like Bag of Bones by Stephen King. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but I might read something on the vacation. Maybe. I don't know for sure, but we are going out to Tennessee in September again. I'm hoping Monster Mash Burger is still doing well so I can go out there at some point. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the book? Put it down below. Thank you for watching, guys. God bless you, and goodbye.